a wonderful morning, non-traffic morning.
Who says?
Well, not as much as yesterday.
Yes, but there are some people in traffic as we speak now.
Yeah.
And they can't get to work.
Yeah.
Same way I couldn't get to work yesterday.
Yes, that was how my birthday was almost ruined yesterday.
It was your birthday yesterday. You kept it all to yourself. Oh, dear.
That traffic was horrendous.
I walked yesterday.
Yes, he did.
12,000 steps before 10 a.m.
Well, at least you got in your steps.
What? If not that, I fear God. All of my body right now,
You should be sleeping.
It is. Gosh. There are some things that I like to do in the morning, lift a couple of kgs in the mornings. I haven't done it this morning. And I'm even afraid to carry anything. My legs, gosh.
Your cup.
I walked.
Yeah.
Oh, no, my cup is
A lot
fine.
of people did walk yesterday. It was horrible
But
traffic.
I have to say this. First of all, we have to give it to the emergency responders,
Yes.
our security agencies who do the yeoman's job. That Kara Bridge, if memory serves right, or if I'm getting my geography right, is not in Lagos. But most of the intervention yesterday
Was done by the...
was from the Lagos Sector Commander and LASMA.
Yes.
Now, I was on site at Ground Zero on Kara Bridge. I saw very sparing number of trace officials.
Yeah.
This is not me. I was there. Very, very sparing number of trace officials who were able to speak with LASMA GM, who were able to, interface with them. And the man said, look, the only reason we are interfacing is because it has a backlog effect on Lagos. And indeed, that traffic tailed back on Kara Bridge yesterday, tailed back as far as the Ojota interchange.
Yeah.
And now,
that's
bad.
Very bad.
When we were speaking with the road safety sector commander in Lagos, he said, give or take 2 hours. As at 2 hours after, I checked my map. It wasn't gone anywhere.
Yeah.
So it was, but then, and it was even worse than we saw because there was a particular minibus lost under the debris.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Yes, because, if we talk about the reason for the traffic, road crash, multiple vehicle carnage, or I don't know what would you call it. And then overspeeding, losing control, and all that is. I don't know why Kara Bridge bears the brunt of these crashes. If it's not Kara Bridge, it's the Otedola access closer to the seat of government. That too. I think maybe because of the slopey road, and then drivers are not as careful where they should be. When you are going down the slope, you should slow down.
Thankfully, for a long time, and God forbid that it happens again, we haven't had any such situation on the Otedola Bridge, so-called Otedola Bridge. We haven't had that kind of thing there in a very long time, and we're grateful to God for that. But for Kara Bridge, well, I don't know what they put under the bridge that is attracting that kind of thing. But there's something that should be said.
Yeah.
It's our discipline or a lack of it as road users. When we were speaking with the sector commander, he pointed out exactly what you said. Road indiscipline.
Yeah.
Indiscipline on the road. It wasn't like it was raining. And it happened in the night. And whatever it was that the fellow was carrying, it's heavy. Wood.
Was it wood or flour or something? Wood, yeah.
One of them was carrying wood. The one that was carrying wood was the one whose load fell
on the other one.
On the minibus.
Right.
I hope nobody died there, even though, according to the sector commander, one
person died.
But what was it that they used to tie the wood?
Exactly.
No, I saw it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like some
very flimsy
some
things.
throwing.
Yeah.
That they used to just tie the thing. That this stuff is heavy. that kind of load shouldn't have been carried with that kind of vehicle. So somebody raised an issue, I think it was Kayla when we were speaking yesterday, raised an issue about road transportation, or some of these things being ferried via the rail. Thankfully, we'll be having Dr. Okwefa this morning to have a conversation with us. We have restored human traffic via the rail. I'm hoping that we'll get to the point where people would prefer to cargo their stuff via the rail as well, as opposed to using the roads, because that is what is one of the major issues that we're having. Maybe a regulation of sorts might have to do it, okay? If your load is this heavy, use the rail.
Yeah.
Maybe then we will have some peace on our roads.
Yes. Yeah.
For a long time, we were not ferrying fuel on the roads. Now, we've been ferrying. In fact, the tanker drivers don't want to lose business, so to speak. So.
Okay, so away from the roads, let's talk about elections next year. The deadline for registration, according to INEC, is July 26th, I think, Sunday.
Deadline.
There's
25. No, yes, 26.
26, yes, because they've increased their consultations and engagements across the country, and to get more people to say, you know what, you need to register. You cannot vote without your PVC. Let's just get on with it and do as much as possible.
Let's be clear.
So
tomorrow is 26.
Yes, tomorrow is 26.
I also know that there are some churches and other religious organizations who encourage people to register at their church or their place of worship. Why? Because everything is now digitized.
Yes.
You can register online, you can do your biometrics online, and that's cheering to hear. Let's see how that plays out during the general elections. But somebody said, if you did not vote, you have lost the authority to complain.
To complain, yes.
So, Kachineke Mezioku. Excusable, that I will say.
Right, so that's it. So, people are encouraged to go register as much as possible so that you can, perform your civic responsibility on election day. And all your complaints, you can get all that energy out on voting day and,
I'm talking about voting. Permit me to use the term social media warriors.
It's not the same thing.
See, politicians don't hate themselves. They don't. In the build-up to the 2023 elections, I think, President Tinubu and Vice President Atiku Abubakar were at the airport together, chit-chatting.
Yes.
While people were saying, I'm an Atiku supporter, I'm articulated, what's the other one for? Batified, that. And this guy sat down at the airport lounge and they were just smiling and laughing, and then I'm like, Jesus Christ. And then somebody came out and said, for those of you who are fighting on behalf of politicians, they don't hate themselves. In the thick of the brickbat between President Obasanjo at the time and Governor Tinubu at the time, they still had their time. When President Tinubu was going to contest for presidency in 2023, before the 2023 elections, he went to see Chief Obasanjo. Chief Obasanjo held him by the hand, the same way King Charles held him by the hand. So, let's not fight ourselves over your preference is your preference, another person's preference is their preference. Let's not make each other look bad and all of those things.
And no bloodshed, because
you're saying this person is this one, that person is that one. They don't hate themselves.
They do not.
They don't hate themselves. They say, in fact, there is a term that every one of us should register. In politics, there are no permanent enemies. Only what? Permanent interests.
Yes.
So You don't want to make enemies with your interests.
Okay, let's get to our menu for today. So what do we have? The cost of systemic decay.
It is costly.
Yes, it's very costly. It's very costly. Once it builds up within the years, it is quite costly.
That's one of the reasons we're still struggling with the Ajaokuta, project all this while. Then prices soaring. Nigerians are struggling as prices are soaring. What's happening? Why is all that? Find out later in our conversation today.
And we also have the state of the rails.
Yes.
Earlier,
want to know about it. Yes.
Yes, carrying heavy goods through the rail, not just human transportation. But, and then we'll have our lifestyle. Why health starts with self-care.
Did you know there was such a thing as International Self-Care Day? Well, now you do.
Wow.
And that's why we're talking about this.
Is there no day that is not international?
Oh, wait. It was International Jockey Day yesterday.
Oh, yeah. If you put it that way.
And then we hopefully will have a taste of the week, and you will find out who it is when that time comes. As you can see, I have been sipping on stuff. I don't know. Well, she's been sipping on stuff as well, but she doesn't want me to see what she's sipping on.
I had enough sipping yesterday, so let me just keep to myself.
We'll be right back.
Stay with us.
I know that I don't text enough, but you're always on my mind.
Right, let's get right into it. The cost of a decaying system. One has been like that, for decades. Nigeria's democratic model has been faced with what has been described as dual crises, which are an unsustainable high cost of governance that drains public resources, and a deeply fragmented opposition that fails to offer a credible alternative, no shadows. While public service governance is crippled by systemic waste and institutional decay, opposition parties remain too weak and too divided to enforce accountability. Together, these factors trap the nation in a cycle of economic distress and political disillusionment.
I would add to this conversation the angle, though unrelated in a way, this PFIPC thing. Why? If not for systemic decay, would that ever happen? Would that gap ever be so crippling that right now, let me say, the federal government is playing catch up?
Yes.
It's I don't know, we'll get
Did you hear the budget office yesterday came out to deny that no approvals were made, no monies were paid. It didn't get to that part where anything was paid to anybody. Even though it's the 2026 budget.
There's a Yoruba proverb. There's a Yoruba proverb, okay, that says, your son is not a laundryman, but he keeps bringing clothes home. You can see an envelope, but you are not cashing the envelope. You saw money in somebody's budget and you're saying the money didn't. Why bring the money into the budget in the
first place? Right.
Anyway,
And so we're to talk about this, the seemingly systemic decay. We have two guests in the house today. Professor Vincent Anibogu, Director General, International Institute for National Transformation. He joins us online from Uganda. Thank you so much for joining us on the program today. And
thank you, Hello.
Right, it's Joker this time.
Oh, joking.
Right.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. Right, and then we have Pastor Dotu Ojelabi, founder, lead pastor of Covenant Harvest Christian International Ministry, leadership coach, publicist, futurist, scholar, history advocate, and good governance enthusiast. I love to always read out these things. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Good morning, Joker.
I hope you didn't encounter any traffic.
No, not at all.
Great. So So, I mean,
why are you making it sound like Lagos is all about traffic?
it's because, but you should be the one passionate about it.
Yes, yesterday. Please leave our Lagos to us. Go and talk to them in Abuja. They are also having traffic.
Well, at least we know there's no traffic online, so good. Let's see. Right, so, I mean, let's start with you in the studio. You know, what do you think of this seemingly, systemic decay that we have? We haven't quite gotten round to, cutting down the cost of governance. And as we said in our opening, opposition parties are too busy, battling one thing or the other, or battling each other, or battling the government of the day for whatever weak reasons that they are not really, calling the government of the day to account.
The way I'm going to put it is simple. I will address the whole value chain with a quote. It's actually my favorite quote. Is by Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi has a quote that is called the 7 blunders of the world. And he tried to address the social sins in 7 dimensions. What causes societal decay? And that's my favorite quote, and it's in page 39 of my first book, The Eagle Personality. And what does it say? Number 1 is wealth without work. There are 7 things that causes society to decay. Number 1 is wealth without work. And that showcases what we have on hand now. People want to make money without bringing value. Number 2 is pleasure without conscience. Pleasure without conscience. Number 3 is knowledge without character. Now, so Nigeria has gotten to a place that we places priority on paper knowledge, on degrees, while there are some other areas that are more important than degrees. You can't have a PhD, 2 PhDs, and be morally bankrupt and be a thief. So it's not enough to constitute a government with excellent intellectual people, but you have to also deal with the character. Knowledge without character will make Morufu the mechanic fix your car, put fake parts, and say, "Oh God, come in, I'm bringing the car tomorrow," and say it's Friday. He takes his girlfriend to a nightclub with your car after finishing it, then he crashes it. Now, number 4 is commerce without morality. Commerce without morality. You can't even do business with a Christian now without them trying to cheat you, not to talk of the ordinary Nigerians. And these are real. You can imagine in the days of Mahatma Gandhi, he has pictured that society will decay if you don't address certain things.
But I apologize for butting in, but then there's an angle to you, Joker's question.
Yes.
One of the, should I say, the checks, the societal checks on governance is the opposition.
Yeah.
So the second leg to that question is, on the one hand, there is systemic decay. On the other hand, there is an opposition that's supposed to be checking. And it will seem like we're not getting that as well.
I'm glad that you interjected me. You know, Mahatma Gandhi had a son, and he had the 7 blunders became the 8 blunders of the world. And what he ended was that rights without responsibility. We have an opposition that are demanding rights but are not ready to take responsibility. Simple said. In fact, there's no opposition. And there's no credible opposition.
Where did we miss that? I'm sorry. We'll come back to you, Prof, in a moment. Where did we miss that? Because I remember in the First Republic, it was we had a very virile opposition. Second Republic, the same thing. You had to know. I mean, you didn't live in Lagos if you didn't know UPN, even though the government at the center was NPN. In the Third Republic, both of them were checking each other. In fact, if the Third Republic had sailed through, we would have had an SDP president and an NRC National Assembly.
Well said.
And but somehow at this level in this Fourth Republic, everything seems to have gone under. Where did we miss it?
I will tell you something, and it's government's responsibility to create awareness, to encourage or discourage low voter count or voter apathy. So not only the opposition, the general citizens, if government does not, this present government does not do anything, people will not come out to vote in 2027 because of economic hardship. In fact, economic hardship silenced the opposition. You that you are looking for money to buy electricity, to put diesel in the generator, you won't even have voice to be critical to government or to speak truth to the government. So that is majorly it. And also, credible technocrats that understands governance, good governance, they are discouraged. They don't even trust the electoral process. They are discouraged. So if I may speak, the government needs to, if 2027 comes, I'm telling you, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is going to win. But I don't want it to be a Pyrrhic victory. Let me repeat myself. There's something called Pyrrhic victory. A victory that looks like a loss. Now, what he needs to do as our president is to make sure that people come out to vote.
Okay. Well, let's go to Prof very quickly. Prof, I mean, you have heard everything. I'm pretty sure that as we spoke, some thoughts will be playing in your mind about some of the issues that have been raised. But let's start with the one that Joke, my colleague here, raised about opposition political parties not being as forthright as should I say productive as they ought to be in this election. It would seem like the federal government has been having an easy ride. That even during the Buhari government, it would seem like the government of the day was just having an easy ride and opposition wasn't as virile as it should be.
Thank you so much, and so good to see you after such a long time. Let me say that what you are talking about is actually a symptom of a much bigger issue. There are 4 key tenets to a successful democracy. Number 1, there must be a clear national vision. What do we want to become, not just 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years down the line? And you make such decisions based on emerging global trends. You know the trends that are coming, you factor them into your national vision, and make sure you develop the people that can bring the nation there. I can tell you right now, there is no viable, cogent, clear national vision to which Nigerians can latch onto and prepare themselves for it. Number 2, any successful democracy requires people of character. In the old days, politics, there's a Greek word called politikasta. It means people of model character. That's why they were called honorables, your excellencies, because their character reflected those qualities. Any successful democracy makes human capital development a very important factor, because without good people, you cannot run good systems. Even when you have the best economic systems, bad people will destroy it. The good people will make it to run. So you see Nigeria, people without character, whether in the current party or in the opposition party, people that lack conviction, people that lack clear national values that they want to protect. We have raised a very transactional group that are simply belonging to political parties based on what is promised to them, but not the ideals that they want to see in the nation. Number three, even when you have a clear vision and competent people with character, you must have systems that work. And these systems are domiciled in functional institutions, judiciary systems to protect law and order, and so on and so forth. Look through the society, you will find that our systems are collapsing. The institutions that are supposed to protect these systems have actually decayed. And then finally, any meaningful government aims for transformation, impact, to take the nation in a progressive path to development. But because there's no vision, because there's no character, because institutions and systems are collapsing, there is no transformation.
Is that also what is responsible? My apologies, Prof. Is that also what is responsible for the almost 1,000 ghost workers caught in an investigation by the ICPC recently, where people are getting paid for absolutely nothing? In fact, some analysis also pointed to an individual listing some members of his own nuclear family as salary earners with the federal government. We also understand from that same report that the Nigeria police had, 570 ghost workers? And we're saying that we don't have enough of them. Is that what is responsible for all of that?
In fact, our education system has been designed to produce people with knowledge, but not with character. And somebody said, education without moral foundation produces clever devils. People who use their knowledge not to build the entities that they are given, but they use that knowledge to exploit. The unfortunate thing about Nigeria is there's a complete, total moral collapse. Our leaders are not modeling excellence. Our professors are not modeling excellence. In every institution in Nigeria, it's difficult to find people that are modeling excellence, integrity, transparency, accountability. And of course, what parents do in moderation, their children will do it in excess. And so the chicken is coming home to roost. Our misplaced priorities in our national development journey is finally coming home.
Right. Thanks, Prof. Pastor, if I come to you, he talked about misplaced priorities. He also talked about, having a clear vision or the lack of it. So if I could, bring that home to talk about, what the vision of most politicians or is when they are seeking public office. there's a school of thought, it seems to be, that they do a lot of spending. Before we talked about spending during campaigns.
Yes.
Campaign funding. People spend a lot of money because there's hope that they're going to recoup that when they get into government. There was a time this EFCC chairman actually gave a lecture about electoral spending and how extravagant a lot of politicians are, and then when they get into office, this extravagance continues. And where they hope to recoup, and where they believe that politics is about sharing in the national cake. So what should the vision be for a responsible government? Should it be about the monies that are going to be made when in public office, or should it be about just governing the people and ensure that it's the people that are at the center of these policies and not the politicians themselves?
Let me start from here. It's been said that democracy thrives when citizens participate. That is why I am here. Democracy thrives when citizens participate. So citizen participation is government's responsibility to create awareness and encourage citizens to be active. Now, Prof, you said something, you listed 4 things that are very valid, pragmatic, and very, very theoretical at the same time. Now, I will take the vision and I will add to the vision. The vision has a cousin called ideology. Every democracy thrives on ideology. And in politics, you will see parties without clear ideology. This party will have this ideology. It will be similar to this, but it doesn't. Where we borrowed democracy from, this party will have a different. Labour Party will not have from a progress. We have a different ideology, and let me tell you, ideology is like a senior cousin of vision. What is vision? Vision is just simply painting the picture of the future. But ideology is an unwritten vision that you walk into it and it shapes how you react, how you walk, your habit, your character. Now, I want to say something. Maybe Prof doesn't know. Nigeria has national development vision, national development ideology, but they are not telling us. So this present government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu needs to break things down for us so that we can understand it, know it, and be able to be part of it. I can tell you without blinking eyes that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a legacy president. I don't know whether you understand that. He's a legacy president, he's an eagle president. And he's bold. His reforms are very powerful. It takes a man with a gut to, from the first day of government, to remove subsidy and cancel literally round tripping.
He had no choice in that removal of subsidy because President Buhari had already left it out of the incoming budget, so he had no choice.
So somebody said something, Joke. Somebody said that it is not what you say, it is how you say it. So Bayo Onanuga is doing a good job, but we need somebody to be engaging the citizens on the Twitter, on the social media every day. Every day. We need a Trump kind of president that will be tweeting every day. That will be tweeting so that we know, and we know where to partner with the government to make Nigeria great again. very important. But to say that this government doesn't have a vision is not true.
My question was, what priorities should the government, put in place to ensure that, there's no the cost of governance, all these cost of governance that we're talking about, does not lead to systemic decay? What should the government be prioritizing after the campaigns when it comes into office? What kind of things should the government be looking at such that there won't be talk of there's too much money is being spent here, the government only wants to enrich itself, and those are the issues that people battle with every day.
I like what you have just said, and what we have, that's PFIPC, is simply an institutional corruption. Somebody an ordinary person on the street will not have access to this government secretariat to do a fake government parastatal. That's institutional. So when you want to correct institutional corruption, it comes with intentionality of government and government being able to make scapegoats. And and also build trust. Leadership is all about trust. You see, and it can't be outsourced. Once a leader the body language is clear, where he's going is clear, is intentional about good governance and tackling corruption, then everybody will fall in line. Everybody.
I'd like to raise something with you, Prof. Every time we talk about leadership in Nigeria, we're only looking at the federal government.
Yes.
And that's a great disservice to the Nigerian, even if the Nigerian does not know it. In the past 2-3 years or so, the resources that go to the states now are like twice, if not thrice, what they earned before. Unfortunately, it would seem like everything is still the federal government's fault. In fact, there are those who say the president should limit the resources that are sent to the states. And I'm like, do we even read the Constitution? To know that there is something they call separation of powers, and there is something they call first line charge, and it is illegality in fact, it is illegal for the federal government to withhold the resources of any state. When President Obasanjo did it at the time, he had one reason or the other for doing it. Lagos went to court and won. So that case has been decided. This is not, if the president is doing it now, then he's doing exactly the same thing that he fought against, when he was in government in between 1999 and 2007. So we seem to cut the states a lot of slack. And consequently, people continue to focus on the federal government, thinking if the direction doesn't come from the federal government, we're all at a loss. Meanwhile, the states are supposed to have their own visions. Lagos had a 25-year plan that terminated recently, and they came up with another 30-year plan. So if the states can do that for themselves, and we're not seeing it, is that the responsibility of the federal government?
No, it's not. It's not. And there are templates that work. The Lagos State template. I've been privileged to read the development plan for Lagos State. On paper, you can't fault it. That 25-year development plan, you can't fault it. I've also been privileged to read at a time the National Strategic Plan for Nigeria. Is faultless. Nigeria, Prof mentioned something, and I've been saying it, that this government, they will make huge progress if they prioritize human development capital. Human development capital. yesterday on NTA, the president they were receiving, literally was begging Nigerian doctors in diaspora to come back home. He was begging them. That is a good one. That is a good one. If you don't know, let me tell you, UCH in Ibadan, Saudi royals were coming for treatment in UCH in Ibadan. And medicine is about the doctors, not about the medicine. It's about the doctors. I'm privileged to know Dr. Lukoya. He's called a fetal surgeon. It is one of, because I've lived in the States before. I've lived in a city where he lived also. He ranks number 1 to 10 in the world. He's a Nigerian. There is no advancement in this world that you will not find in Nigeria, in NASA. So I want to applaud the president. He needs to do more of that. Let them come and let him create enabling environment.
Okay.
But let me tell you something. I need to twist your thoughts, your thread of thoughts. You see, the future of Nigeria is how and what we do with artificial intelligence.
We'll come to that one in a moment. Prof, that question of us cutting the states, seemingly cutting the states some slack, pretty much saying that you guys are not as responsible as the federal government, even though they get so much resources. What is your take on it? What's the gap we are living out there? And how is that adding to or removing from the systemic decay we've been talking about?
Actually, one of the biggest lies we have propagated over the years is believing that federal government alone will develop the nation. In fact, national development is a comprehensive ecosystem venture. In that ecosystem, the family has a role to play. Because if they don't develop the disciplined children, the nation will never develop. The faith-based organizations have their role to play to make sure they send people of character into the society. The academic institutions have a role to play to make sure they send out people who are not only competent, but know how to convert knowledge to goods, products, and services that grow the economy, not just people that carry certificates and become beggars. Government has its role to play to make sure they provide the policy, the guidelines, the functional monitoring agencies, and make sure we're doing things properly. Make sure the funds are available. And at any given time, focus on priority programs that will move the nation forward within that season. The media has a role to play to make sure we are not constantly highlighting the weaknesses of the nation, but also helping to cast a positive vision of where the nation is going. And of course, the security agencies have their role. So national development is an ecosystem. When everyone knows their role, they are trained to play that role, and we function synergistically towards national development. Now, let me come specifically to the local government. I'm so happy that under the leadership of this government, the local governments have been empowered. In fact, I'm now working with one of the local governments in Nigeria. They want to develop a long-term development plan with clear goals and strategies of what they want to do. We need to see more of it so that the burden can be shifted away from the central government to the local government. So right? Correct. National development is an ecosystem where everybody plays their role towards transforming the nation.
Prof, since we are talking about the cost of systemic decay, I'd like to take you up on this one. When in the early days of this government, the federal government said the value of Nigeria's raw material, solid minerals and all of those things is in multiples of trillions. Excuse me, I don't particularly recall the precise number that Mr. Laki gave at the time now. And all of these resources are spread across all the states, every state in the country. Now, Pastor Jelabi was talking about the fact that we don't you mentioned the fact that we don't have a cohesive vision that everyone is supposed to be chasing after. Pastor Jelabi said we do have such a vision where we're supposed to be going. Now, we are talking about a systemic decay because over the years it will seem like we are not going in a particular direction that Nigerians can follow. And now we have all of these resources spread across all the states. What are we losing when Nigerians do not see or know what this national vision or direction is, yet we're all supposed to be going in the same direction, particularly as concerning these resources that are across all the states, and we're not really doing much with them?
Let me interest you why I'm in Uganda. One of the leaders is the current Minister for Energy, Natural Resources, and even Power. And I'm an advisor to her. So I fully know the Ugandan policy. Minerals. Number one, Uganda has banned exportation of any person interested in mineral deposits in Uganda must come to Uganda and through the factory to convert that raw material to addition to higher products. It is clear on enforcing that. I don't see a similar policy in Nigeria. And even if it exists, I don't see evidence that is being enforced. Uganda has now produced surplus power. Their problem is not power production. Their challenge now is. So it is entirely possible for a nation to set clear policies and develop competent agencies and manage with people of integrity. If we do that, then all those national resources that we have can be converted to wealth, to train our people and capacitate them before we now channel them towards other social needs. So the issue. It still boils down to vision and then competent people to enforce that vision.
Okay. Well, you want to speak?
I need to say something about the minerals. Maybe you don't know that my first degree is in geology and my second degree is in petroleum engineering from University of Ibadan. Then I'm on a WhatsApp for everyone that graduated from the University of Ibadan geology class with at least minimum 50 professors. So that Ugandan strategic plan for minerals, I believe Nigeria has a superior one. I believe so. And so when I graduated in 1990 from University of Ibadan, my supervisor is Professor Olade, a professor of economics economic geology. In his office, that's the first time I'm going to see an aquamarine and raw diamond in his office. Now, 1990, that's 36 years ago. I can tell you for free, because I also had 14-year experience with Texaco and Chevron. I could tell you for free, the mineral reserve in Nigeria is more than the oil reserve. For free.
So the question remains.
For free.
Implementation, which is what the professor is talking about.
Yeah,
so they are all in states.
Yes.
We don't have that cohesion between the federal and state governments. Can I tell you something?
The federal government has it. But when they start breaking it down into little bits and explaining it to the populace, then they will build a lot of trust. The government should be more open to the populace. Me, for example, I'm from the back, I'm looking at what they are doing, and I could see they're going in the right direction. But that is me. What about 100 million, 200 million Nigerians? They need to say it better. I'm telling you, you see, it's as if they employed me to come and talk about the good things they are doing. But that's not the case. But I'm a very logical person. The way they are going, why we are experiencing pain and economic hardship in Nigeria is that if a woman is pregnant and it goes into labor and you do surgery and the baby comes out, excuse me, the woman will be recovering 3 months. She can't even walk well. She's in pain. Most times they can't even do naming ceremony. They will allow the surgery to heal.
Right.
And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu took some bold steps with structural policies.
We're not seeing the impact yet. When are we going to see the impact, which is the issue?
Now, I'd add to that the fact that it has, whatever wonderful thing is, it's not fixing the systemic decay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I don't know what is in his mind.
You see, that's the thing. The federal government has more than 1,000, about 1,500 ministries, departments.
Yes.
We can't expect one person to do it all.
Yes.
What we are talking about here, Prof, let me come to you quickly. What we are talking about here is a system. You talked about the system the other time. 1,500 ministries, departments, and agencies of the federal government, and everyone is looking at one person. So what are the guardrails that we need to put in place to ensure that that system works and it heals itself? Add that to what you said the other time, and I'm going to bring that to Pastor again. How do we produce Nigerians that are patriotic, that can help those systems to work and not continue in this decadence?
Thank you, Mr. Ayu. You know, one thing I enjoy about what we're doing here, you can never develop a nation when you're not brutally honest about what is wrong. We are not here to castigate any leadership. We are here to do an honest assessment. You know, yes, we've done a good job. How can we do better? So this discussion will be more beneficial if we can honestly advise whoever comes in as the next president of Nigeria what they should do. Number one, they must have a clear diagnosis of what the Nigerian problems are. Enough of cliches. We don't want cliches and sloganism. Tell us the brutal facts of what the issues are, and tell us how you want to address them. Number two, we need credible national transformation philosophy. My co-presenter has alluded to that. Everybody in Uganda knows that the ruling party has 4 tenets they have driven that since 1986. Democracy, Pan-Africanism, socio-economic development, and finally what do you call it? Please forgive me, but patriotism. Everybody knows that these are the four cardinal principles that rule the current party. Whether you agree or not, we need to generate a fundamental philosophy that drives Nigeria, that cuts across even different political parties. Number four, we need to develop a clear, measurable things to measure cost, timeliness, responsible institutions. We need to start inculcating discipline in our society. You can't see something that goes wrong, you simply comment about it, but you do nothing. You send a strong message to the people that you don't care. The true response is an action to correct something that is wrong. Until leadership moves in these clear directions that convinces the people that are serious, we will continue to see politics as just a playground and not necessarily a clear intention to move the nation forward. We need to move away from politicization to concrete national development plan followed by concrete actions.
Right. Thanks, Prof. We're wrapping it up very quickly in less than a minute. You know, the things that you think should be put in place going forward to an actionable plans that involve the people and ensure that the people actually benefit from governance.
Number one, incorporating patriotism in the educational system. Number two, putting history back into the curriculum. Because if you don't know where you are coming from, you can't get to where you are going. My late dad is a scholar. He wrote the textbook of West African history in 1970, used as official WAEC textbook for 5 African countries. So we don't have a sense of history. That must be put back and teach patriotism from primary schools. The second thing is that the government is not saying enough. Bayo Nonuga can be there speaking, but the president must have ambassadors that are dishing out daily what they are doing, their wins, and our wins must be celebrated. The president of number one president in the world, President Trump, wrote a letter to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu congratulating him on decisive leadership in tackling insecurity. Excuse me, ma. That is not politics.
But the letter started with "Thank you for your thoughtful letter." In other words, the president wrote first. I want to
there will be communication in that. We really have to go. There will always be communication.
Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Soar Jalabi is a founder and lead pastor of Covenant Harvest Christian International Ministry, and he's a number of other things that Dr. said earlier. We also had Professor Vincent Anebogu, who is Director General, International Institute for National Transformation. He joined us from Uganda. Thank you so much for your time this morning, gentlemen.
Thank you so much.
After all what my people in the north call Dogo Turunchi, it all comes back to what are we going to eat. And guess what? We want to talk about why prices are increasing.
Yeah.
In fact, I saw recently that fuel price that was 1,003 is now climbing small.
It's not small, lows, fast.
We'll talk about that and more when we return.
And the struggle continues.
No.
Okay.
I'm not struggling.
No.
Nigeria is not struggling.
No. But that's it. Nigerians struggle with prices as prices.
It's Nigerians that are struggling, not Nigeria.
Okay.
It's a difference.
Okay, carry it on. Say what you must.
I'm sorry. I meant that as a joke. But really, I mean, it is true. When Nigerians are, having a hard time, Nigeria itself is actually going through what they call birth pangs. So, as at the last count, Nigeria's headline inflation is said to be some 15.91%. And unfortunately, unabated price hikes and accelerating food inflation continue to drive up the country's severe cost of living crisis. Of course, we're still talking about macroeconomic factors like fuel subsidy removal, currency devaluation that some people believe is triggering the initial crisis, exploitative pricing by traders, and on and on and on like that. Let's have conversations this morning about this matter with the founder and president, Consumer Advocacy Foundation of Nigeria, CAFON. She is a former honorable member representing the Southwest on the Competition and Consumer Protection Tribunal and a fellow broadcaster. Thank you for I have to add that one. Yes. I just have to add it.
I want a media person.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me on Sunrise. It's been some time since I've been here.
Well, the sun still rises every day.
It will continue to rise.
For which reason we are here.
Yeah.
So, first of all, give us an idea what this whole conversation about rising prices is about. Now, there are those who believe, for instance, that when the Strait of Hormuz was open, prices should automatically crash. Because when the president announced fuel subsidy is gone, that very day, prices hiked immediately. So maybe there is some understanding that Nigerians need to get about why prices hike suddenly. Is it exploitative by the operators, or is it the economy that is making it?
It's interesting. When I was going to prepare for this was one of the things that I actually looked up. And you find that the issue is that as a consumer, we think in terms of, I want to buy this is the price, I plan for it, I buy it. The retailer or the seller also is thinking in terms of the cost of production or the cost of replacement, and not the actual price or profit. So at the point at which he buys a product, I've had a very bad back and forth with retailers on this. When you buy a product and you've already put your markup, you have put your pricing, you have put your profit, and you put it out at a particular price to the consumer. If something happens in the market to distort the market, that's when you immediately just jack up the price. So something that I bought and I was selling at 10 naira before, there's some problem in that market, and then replacement cost for me becomes 30 naira. Immediately, I change the price of what I have left on my shelf in order for me to be able to replace it.
Right.
That's what causes that instant markup. Should it be? No. But one of the reasons why that is in Nigeria is because for businesses, access to capital finance is very, very difficult. In other environments, what would normally happen is, if there is going at the point of replacement, I just approach my bank and I take a loan or something at comfortable rates, so that the increase is not immediately transferred to the consumer. But because the average business person in Nigeria has to raise their own financing themselves, they don't have access to cheap loans to help to support their capital expansion or replacement costs. It's from this stock that they have to generate the amount of money that they need to be able to stay in business. So that is the problem.
Is there a system that guards that downstream sector, if I can, put it that way? Because at the end of the day, we understand the perspective of the dealer, the person who is, dispensing to me. But then it hasn't. The person's challenge has not increased my own income. If anything, it has made life a little more difficult for me. And so it is it's a cycle.
A very vicious one.
Once they do that one, I'm also thinking I am selling tomato, not petrol. Automatically. Forex will
which is the reason why when you go to the open markets, you hear people say, Naira has, the cost of Naira, what is it, exchange rate has increased, and you're wondering exchange rate on pepper. It's because it's a domino. It's a vicious cycle. If you increase your pricing, it affects my own inputs, and that means I also have to increase my pricing to go, for me to be able to stay in business and be able to provide the service that you want. So it's a vicious cycle. Now, it shouldn't be. I just explained to you, I said, it really shouldn't be so. The peculiarity of the Nigerian environment makes it even harder. Cost of living is a problem globally. If you listen to foreign news, you know that everybody is really struggling with it.
Even when you watch films,
So it's a global thing, but our own environment makes it even more excruciating because of so many things that are not really in place to help to cushion the effect of the cost.
So what? Because you've explained it away, and the reasons. When the prices go up, and you want to increase your own prices so that you can have. You can be able to, you can afford,
and to stay in business.
Yeah, to stay in business, you can afford the replacement. But why does that have to be passed down to you and I? Can't you just, get the money to be able to replace it? Why do you have to inflate what you didn't buy for that amount? So you're almost getting like 100% or 150%, 200% profit. Just because you want to be able to replace your stock, then I have to pay for that.
My argument has always been, which is when I talk to the retailers about this, my argument has always been, it's as if you are making your consumers shareholders in your business and they don't get dividend. Because your shareholders are the ones to help you raise capital, to expand your business or to meet replacement costs and quote. But because many of these businesses are individual private businesses, they don't have a board, they don't have shareholding and all that. It's not illegal. Wow. It becomes illegal when you exploit those circumstances, and that's the reason why we have the FCCPC. That's the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission. They are set up to regulate and monitor consumer, not just prices, consumer protection. They're supposed to protect consumers in the marketplace and ensure that there is fair markets. That means the market is fair to every participant. That's both to the consumer and even to the businesses, because we don't want the businesses to pack up.
Right, but so, does it not look like price gouging? Because what kind of structure do we have in place? I'm not sure how much the FCCP can do. I think it's just individual cases that people report to them, then they now take action. Do we have a structure in place in Nigeria that ensures that those kind of things do not happen?
The structure is multifaceted.
Oh, wow.
Okay? Yeah. And because Nigeria practices a free economy, we cannot regulate prices. Okay? Price regulation does not help. So what we do is we try to promote competition. You will find that government is actively involved in ensuring that more participants are in the marketplace, because competition is one of the tools by which you can use to force prices down. If, for instance, 5 of us are providing the same service, somebody can decide to use a price drop as their own strategy to attract businesses, which is how you force prices down. I mean, remember the old when we used to have when they told us it was impossible to charge. That was the fastest one I can think. Per minute billing, and then Glo came on board and started charging.
I was actually going to go to that as well, because before then we had 3 telcos.
And they all said the same thing.
All of them said the same thing.
That's collusion.
That's okay. So how do we explain that? What if we have a situation like that as well? Because there was a time in this country as well where we had very, very few petrol stations, or petrol dealers, and they all faced one direction.
I did check with the FCCPC, and I know that right now they are already investigating. They're doing some surveillance activity, especially in that petroleum sector. They actually released a press release recently where they identified that, look, they noticed that, yes, prices went up when there was friction in the Strait of Hormuz, but the prices didn't come down to the same measure as when the place was free. And so it's obvious that, in Nigeria, somebody says to me, in Nigeria, the law of gravity doesn't work, especially in pricing. Everything that goes up rarely ever comes down to where it was. We started off in February at 800 naira per liter, and the issue happened on the global stage, pushed it to 1,034. Now it has not gone under 1,000.
Yeah.
It has refused to go under 1,000. And that is what FCCPC is empowered to investigate. They are already carrying on that investigation to find out why is this pricing not really going, it's not as elastic as what brought it on. And that's where you find the excesses of Nigerian businesses. The minute they get attracted to collecting a certain amount of money, they rarely ever want to go back. Look at transportation. Transportation has almost tripled, and it has stayed about there.
Well, fuel prices also remained up there.
No, fuel price keeps going up and down, but you never find pricing going up and down with the price point. It stays flat, while the others are moving up and down. So it's the way a well regulated or competitive markets work is that if prices go up, consumers will feel it. If it comes down, consumers will feel it. But not in Nigeria. It goes up, consumers feel it, and then it comes down just maybe to middle level or something. So that is the role that FCCPC is playing. They have the power to investigate those kind of markets where you find that there's something. Why is it not as elastic as the incidences that brought it on? They have done that in FS. You remember they did something in FS recently when it comes to celebration periods like December and all that, fares just become so astronomical. And so they found out that it was not commensurate with maybe an increase in fuel, petroleum, jet fuel or something, that the price, they measured, it increased like 300-400% more than the increase. And so they're already investigating it. And if they do find that is price gouging, and they can penalize and hold those people.
But that's the other time I spoke about structure. That's like a structured industry, the airline, where we talk about the price of tomatoes and onions and other things, perishables. Informal sector more like. How does the FCCP come in to regulate those particular ones such that Nigerians don't suffer it? The airlines and other whatever, it's more structured, so you probably can actually go in and say, no, what you're doing is not right. But for the informal sector, how many associations and shops can you deal with to say, let your...
Oh, actually, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Act, when we had that per second billing thing, we didn't have competition laws.
Yeah.
Now we have competition laws. And those competition laws also actually affect associations and the artisans and all of those things. It is the responsibility of the FCCPC to keep enlightening those marketplaces and helping them understand you can't behave as you used to behave before. Now, one of the ways that government can help is interventions. I remember when there was this I think it was about the time when there was a shift in FX and Kwanko, and food became so expensive. And Lagos State started that discount market.
Yeah.
It actually helped to force prices back to normal. In a capitalist environment, the capitalist is more interested in making profit. It can maximize profit as much as it can. That is why government is there to push against you, to say, no, you cannot go beyond this particular thing. But because government doesn't want to regulate, because if government regulates that market, it can cause scarcity it can cause a whole lot of things which is not beneficial to the consumer. So there are a lot of tools in government hand to modulate and to work with markets to bring it down. But basically, we can only still appeal to the conscience of the average Nigerian. It's so important that we all understand that our actions, when I put unnecessary increase on my own service, the person who is benefiting from that service will also have to increase his own, which would eventually come round and bite you. So it's a cycle.
Yeah.
And until we get that understanding, we will keep pushing back and forth.
The yam seller will need the egg seller one way or the other. But then there's something you have been advocating. You've been talking about an AI-empowered consumer rights guide. How is AI going to affect the price of tomato?
Oh, you'll be shocked at what AI has the capacity to do. I'm actually still experimenting it. One of the greatest challenges that I find in advocating for consumer protection for the past like almost 25 years I've been in this space is that a whole lot of Nigerian consumers don't even know that they have rights. You know, there are some problems we face that we know it is structural. We have to work our way through it. But there are some that are totally unnecessary that we could actually prevent, but we don't because we are not aware that we have the tools to prevent it. The AI, we call it the consumer companion, the Carphone consumer companion that we developed actually was just supposed to help to guide Nigerian consumers with the information that they need to be able to resist unnecessary exploitation. For instance, I buy something from you, it's not working well. I say, give me back, you say you are not going to give me, and quote unquote. I just go to the AI, I narrate my experience, and the AI will give me the laws that protect me. It will tell me what the laws say. It will tell me what rights I have. It will tell me the steps to take. And if I have to write you a letter of, complaint, the AI can actually draft the letter for me in such a way that anybody who gets that letter knows that the person who's sending this letter knows what they're doing. And because of that, they get better response. We have actually tested it and it has really proven to be very successful. A friend of mine bought a pair of shoes and I didn't even know she had that problem. When I posted, I was testing the AI. So I said, please help me test this to see whether it gives you the kind of things. So she used it to solve her consumer problem. She said she'd been asking them to give her a refund and they'd be telling her, no, we cannot refund, we don't do this, and for like a few weeks. But when the AI drafted the letter for her and she sent it to them by WhatsApp, she said in 15 minutes, my money was paid. I said it was, she said yes. Because you actually now have powers and you now have structures, consumer structures that are in Nigeria now that were not there 5-10 years ago. For instance, in Lagos State, I can speak to Lagos State because I worked with them. I used to be on the board. And Lagos State has a Lagos State Consumer Protection Agency, very active. If you buy anything in Lagos and somebody is trying to cheat you, just even from Facebook, you can send them a complaint and they will follow through on it and make sure that you get your rights installed or reinstated. So, and FCCPC now has a Lagos office too, which is becoming very active. So those structures never existed before. So now many more service providers now understand that, oh, we can't just take advantage of the consumer anymore. There's some structures that are now fighting for them. And so once you know the law, so which is my AI helps to advise you. It is one of the best counselors. Even I use it now. It's one of the best counselors I get. It will advise you on what steps to take, what rights you have, and how to go about enforcing those rights.
Wow. Wow,
very, very interesting.
Very.
Please, that's your tool. Where can we get it?
It's actually, I'm trying to build it into an app now, but it's available. I'll send you the link where you can actually download it onto your phone, and you can use it anytime.
The reason I'm asking is, at least it will give some people some respect that even though the prices are not coming down, at least I don't have to be.
Actually, can actually do. I'm going to work on it to do that. I can do some price checking for you. Absolutely. So before I go out to buy anything, I go online actually and find out. I want to buy this. What is the price range? So I get a good price range. Something happened to me some months ago. I followed my friend to go and buy a curtain and in Yaba, and we just walked into a shop. And we said, we wanted to buy this curtain. The guy looked at us and told us 17,000. So I was going to start negotiating. I didn't know my friend had done some price check and realized that the thing was sold at 9,000. So she just walked out of the store. I said, let's start arguing. She said, no, we're not bargaining anywhere. Let's go to where we bought it at 9,000. So we walked just down the road and got it at 9,000. Immediately we walked out. Somebody rushed at us. Madam, sorry. That person is not the owner of the shop. I'm the owner of the shop. I will give you at 14. So whenever you go into the open market, before you go, that's what the benefit of artificial intelligence. Just say, I want to buy this. What is the price range across markets? You have a good price range, so that by the time you go to the marketplace, you can still haggle. But
at least you have
an idea. Most of us don't have an idea, so whatever the person calls it for us is what we start, and we think, we got a bargain. You know what? They have already cheated.
Now I know what to do when I want to buy a cow. We're running out of time, but I would like you to, because the year is aping towards, taping off to its end. Elections are building up.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we have seen over time is towards elections and towards the end of the year, prices used to be a bit dramatic. Now we have that combo again. Election and year end. What are the things, who should be doing what, who should be cautious about what?
Well, I wrote a book that's called Protect Yourself, and that's my position with advising Nigerian consumers for now, because until we have really established structures that actually do the protection for you, even without you knowing it, we don't have that yet. We are still reactionary in our protection, in our consumer protection strategies, but we're moving towards institutionalizing consumer protection so that you will not even have to deal with the matter. The system would have dealt with any plan to exploit you from behind. So what I would advise Nigerian consumers to do is, in consumer protection, you are your primary protection. Staying aware, learning strategies that work for you. For instance, there are times when some foods are cheaper. If you can structure your environment in such a way that you can bulk stock them, that eases, you will not be a victim of the price increase as at when it starts to happen. So if we're working towards December now, this is the time to buy rice. Don't wait until October, November. It is time to buy rice if you can afford it, to buy it in bulk. I learned from a friend of mine on Facebook, Lara, that you can, in February, you can actually backstop tomatoes. Tomatoes, she has freezers. She has enough freezers, so she will stock the tomatoes. She has enough tomato to last her for almost a year.
Wow.
Okay? So there are little things like that one needs to do. And then, of course, we're all living within stringent budgets. So prioritize. There are many things that we spend our money on now that are not essentials. Okay? Focus on just staying with the things that are necessary to sustain you. I'm very optimistic about Nigeria's economy. I believe that is actually going to take a turn, and we're headed there. But you need to stay alive
before
to get there.
To witness it.
How about some service providers that have intermediaries, like airports, the railway system, for instance? Sometimes they also have some kind of intermediaries that they can't. The owners of the business are finding it a bit hard, to manage those people. What would you advise?
I don't understand that question.
Okay. Sometimes you want to buy a flight ticket to a particular place. You check a particular platform. It's
okay, those platforms.
But then there is an intermediary that sells it at some kind of
like a premium.
Yes. And then you're wondering, I just saw this thing, and then before you know what is happening, it's
those are the options. You see, that's what competition is supposed to do.
Yeah.
It's supposed to create those options. I don't have to buy from you. I can buy from somewhere else. For instance, I don't buy my foreign flight tickets from agents. I buy directly from the airline. That's just me. It works for me. So, and sometimes I find it cheaper. with the airline than I do with the agent. Or they say sometimes the agent is able to help you route and go and go. I don't mind. I'll just go to the airline I want and just buy from there. It's safer for me. So we want to be able to create more options for Nigerians in every market, so that if I want to buy train tickets, I don't have to go to just one person. The business, I'm sorry, the company itself should have a platform where I can buy direct from them at their price. Now, what usually happens is that they would have, but you never get that ticket on that because somebody would have backstopped it and then will now be selling it at premium. If we have those kind of things, those are the things that are called consumer violations. You can actually report that platform, and that's what FCCPC, Lagos State Protection, and all the other protections can step in for you.
At least now we know that, especially because you are a Competition and Consumer Protection Tribunal member.
I was.
Yes, you were.
I was.
At some point. So now we know who to call to advocate for us.
I'm still an advocate.
No,
I will always be an advocate.
No, I know who I can call.
I'll be very glad. People call me on Facebook, everywhere I am there, go to. So that I will always be. But I am no longer working within the government structure. So now I'm available to help you navigate your consumer protection.
You're not singing Davido's song. I'm not available. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Shola Salako is the founder and president, Consumer Advocacy Foundation of Nigeria, CAFON. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you very much for having me.
We have a service provider to talk to when we return from this break. To stay with us.
We love to travel the rails. A familiar face is back with us.
You know, it's one of the most adventurous, yet most underrated, underestimated travel types. My very first time on the rail was from Lagos to Kano. Oh my God. Joke, I will never forget the experience.
How old were you?
I was 20.
Okay.
I was 20.
We
We didn't know. You had to write it down.
I'm writing it.
I was 20. We didn't know each other from anywhere.
Yeah.
Come and see the bonding.
Yes.
It was not even this Dr. Poifa's new things.
Yeah.
It was the old locomotive that we were using. The kind that you find in Indian movies.
Oh my gosh!
You know, the bonding was amazing.
I can imagine.
All of us on this thing. So you can imagine how heartbreaking it is for someone like me, or rather it was for someone like me to see that between the 80s and 20 years down the line, things went so down. The railway compounds became ghost towns, and the railway system itself became absolutely, almost if not completely non-existent until this Fourth Republic, where, efforts are now being made to bring them all back. So what we have is what we have. There were initiatives listed under the Buhari government. Some of them are seeing the light of day, some of them are not. And this government is also doing its best to do more and more. Perhaps that is why we have Dr. Poifa with us this morning.
Yes, and the first thing we should ask him is, are you increasing fare?
First of all, welcome him. First of all, welcome.
Well, he's always welcome. He knows that. He's always welcome. Anyway, welcome. It's just a joke. Welcome to the program yet again. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Good morning, Sunrise.
Yes. Good morning to you, Railway.
Railway. Dr. Railway.
Thank you very much.
You said there is pressure.
What's the pressure?
We're having pressures to increase.
Yeah.
Diesel pressures.
Yeah.
People's pressure.
People want it to
probably
increase.
if we increase it, we'll have more equipments.
Right.
And there is also the pressure of the economy of operations. However, there are also pressures to think about Nigerians and the current situation of things. So both are on the table. On both sides, we're weighing it, and we will not do anything that will be of shock.
Right.
It will be a government decision rather than our own decision.
Let's start with the realities for you, because one of the challenges you may want to confirm or refute that the railway initiative in Nigeria had was that of funding and maintenance of whatever it was that they had at the time. Consequently, everything, it nosedived over the years. And if we don't get enough funding and you are not able to increase, just as you're saying, aren't we running risks?
Yeah, worldwide, not just for railways, in the mobility sector, where you have passenger movement, there is always a balance of costs, operational costs, ability to pay, capacity to pay, and government intervention. Because mobility defines the entire economy. Regardless of how productive the economy is, if people are not freely moving, goods are not freely moving, there's going to be a cost. And that cost will impact on the cost of the product. There is also what you call the poverty, mobility poverty. That is, the people are poor because they cannot move. When you talk of dimensional poverty, for now, they've not imputed mobility impact into the dimensional poverty that is giving Nigeria. I don't know the exact number now, that people are scared of. If you put mobility cost onto it, maybe 80 to 90% Nigerians may become in that bracket. So because of all those issues, there is always tendency to be cautious and think twice and make sure government plays a role in modulating without regulating, in modulating. Even though if you regulate, it's also allowed. They call it regulated deregulation. There's something like that, regulated deregulation. You have to make sure that government puts and makes some input into mobility costs so that everybody can afford one kind of mobility, whether it is bicycle, whatever, or bus, or train. So for train worldwide,
sorry,
it is usually subsidized.
I apologize for the mobility poverty that you just spoke about now. I'd like you to expatiate a little further. I'm not sure many people even knew. Sincerely, I'm not sure many people even know how serious it is.
It's a theoretical and practical concept in economics, and is also in transport and logistics management. For example, I heard you this morning talking about the traffic on Kara Road. Somebody lives in Agege and he works in Lekki or VI, where the job is, and it costs him 50% of his income to go to work. It's already a poor man. So, and it has to do with accessibility and availability. If the job is available, but it is not accessible, the fact that you have a job does not take you out of the poverty line. So you will spend 40-50% of your income on transportation. It has three different concepts. I can't remember exactly what. And what you now see is that they are spending all they have. That is why people tend to change in those developed countries. When you get a new job, you change your location.
Yeah.
You go and live closer, because transport costs should not be more than 20%. In fact, it should not be more than 10%. Once you start getting to 20, 30, 40, you are moving to the poverty line in your own profession. And that is why you also see, except for the airlines where you have passenger movement, even in the airline sector where people can fix any price, go into American system or the European system. Once an airline is about to crash, you will see government will come in and pump money to make sure the airline does not crash. It's a private enterprise, the government will give a grant. Because when that airline crashes and it loses some market share, and they can't put the aircraft in the air to move people, then there will be pressure in the market. Like she said, there will not be increase in prices. And that increase in prices will disrupt the economy, and it will transcend. And that is why it was Spirit. You never hear an airline in America just go down without somebody absorbing it. the government is always involved. And that is why we give credit to Minister Kiyamo. When the diesel price went up, you saw what he did. And when the airlines came up and said, we may not be able to cope, he quickly called the meeting, he intervened, and the government gave them some slashes. If government had not done that, maybe you might be paying double by now.
But so, what I'm really interested in, and it's a bit scary, but it's good for us to have that reality, because my first question to you was about reality. You said, if we were to measure mobility poverty, 80% or thereabout of Nigerians will be in that bracket.
Might be in that bracket. Don't let me use
no, might be, yes. I mean, so help us understand, those numbers, so that even the government, be it state or federal or whatever, will be able to identify.
I'll give you a practical example now. In 2012, when the fuel price went to 120 and then later moderated to 97, Lagos State government was about doing what Ogun State is doing. Is it Ogun doing it, or you're giving workers 10,000 or so as transport, additional transport money? Is to make them come to work. Two, and not to turn them to liability, because they won't come to work. If they come to work, they become poor. So what we are saying is this: if, let's use common practical, let me use the one I've studied before, the Badagry axis. Go and check the Badagry axis from my two, is it my two? Yeah, right. That's my two to Okukumaiko. The people in that neighborhood don't go beyond my two. A lot of them, majority don't go beyond my two. The people from Badagry, many of them have not gone beyond my two. So that's why people live where they work, or they create their own livelihood where they work. And that's the new model of habitat development. Yeah. Build people workplace, living place, recreational space, everything around where they live, so that they don't get to spend that much or little they have. And what that means is, if you take transport, health, education, if you solve the cost of these three in Nigeria today, a lot of people you think are poor will no longer be poor. You spend so much to take your child to private school, you go to private hospital, you don't want to go to the one by government. Then when it's time to take transport, majority of the transport system are informal. No, it has to be formal. America is a capitalist, number one capitalist system country. Go to their cities. Public transport, where they have it, is local government funded, the city government. And it is, the price cannot change. Anyhow, you have to go to their, they call it council, like our own local government council. The people are called aldermen or whatever. You have to go there, and they have to give 2-3 years notice that this 3 naira, let's say this $1 will increase over the period of 3 years in this dimension. The first year 20 cent, the next year 40 cent, the next year 40 cent, and where the government, where some areas are not bringing in returns, that is, they can't break even, government will not stop transport to that sector. They can now go to your tax, your property tax, and put a 0.001, and they call it transport fund for so purpose. And that is why the Lagos State Government Motor Vehicle Administration also has it. It has a percentage of what goes for your driver license, vehicle license, about 50% goes into the transport fund. And that goes into Lamata to provide those public transport systems. The reason all these are done is to reduce transport mobility poverty or transport poverty. And if you now take that, go and check the current Bureau of Statistics or World Bank data for Nigeria. Transport or mobility is not part of the multidimensional poverty. If they put it, you just imagine, everybody watching can imagine in their own sense, just assume the transport system increased by double. What will happen to my system? What if it reduces by so? So what you do, if you invest in public transport like rail, mass transit and the rest, not these Kurupe kind of fourth-term people, and then not this informal system where when it falls, the price change. When sunlight comes, it changes. When your wife is pregnant, you increase the fare. Or when your husband is out of work, you change your fare. Or when they are playing football and it's time to go and watch football, you increase your fare. So you have to put in a government system to manage public transport so that people can, like you said, plan ahead. This is my salary, this is my transport money, this is my rent, this is this. And what you do is, if you now regulate it or you provide public transport, what you do, if you provide additional, let me say, 2,000 mass transit buses in Lagos, which the Lagos government is doing well about, you will have put about 20,000 naira extra in the pockets of every Lagos resident. And that was the theory we tried to apply when the price went up in Lagos during Jonathan and the Fashola. Eventually the price came down. We now sat with the union members. The petrol thing increased by 33%. How come your own fuel increased by 100%? And it is on everybody. After we negotiated with them, they brought it down. They brought it down drastically. And that is the role of government. Otherwise, you have
interesting
poverty.
Don't worry, I know that.
And when you build hospital, people cannot access it. They are poor. That makes them poorer. Because they will have sickness they cannot cure. It cause them to go, so they won't go to the hospital. A reason why some people, that's why government is prioritizing primary health care in every local council, so that people have access and they have access to the hospital, and the hospital is also available. So it's a function of access and availability, then capacity and ability to pay.
Right. So, I mean, going forward now, if we get back to these transportation issues, and so for people not to be poor in a mobile way, to
be mobility one of the easiest way to remove poverty is
for people to be, I mean, for these issues to go away. I think that, for every system, if you're looking for partners, you're looking for people to fund, not just the immediate government, but maybe, investment partners and all that. I think recently there was an attempt for that somewhere in Europe, I think. European Union Business Forum. You are urging global partners to actually partner with Nigeria to invest in the railway, because it's not an NGO really. It's not I say NGO, non-government organization. It is a government agency, but it's not an NGO. It's a business. It's not a not-for-profit organization in that sense. So, how is that partnership going to work with organizations like the EU to help?
I want to thank the European Union and the business section, especially what they've been doing with Nigerian states governments in terms of mobility. They are doing well with the Lagos State government. I think Kano and Kaduna State government also has a strong relationship with them. What you focus on is the green transportations part, and is to highlight to such groups and investors. If you invest in this sector that looks like the return on investment is very small, is not attractive to the regular business community, except it is a developmental agency, they don't easily look. It's like, I can go to the bank to take loan to fund rail. They can't wait for that long period. Return on investment, payback period, all those things, what they'll be calculating. But if you go to agencies like the European Union, IFC, AFDB, Afrexim, and the rest, these are developmental banks or investment outlets. So they look also into the sustainability. So what we took there is the green aspects of rail transportation. We made it clear earlier that we have completed the proof of concept of using LNG, and we have also moved far as to turning electric. This will reduce the carbon footprints of our operations. At the same time, they bring down the cost of operation. But the initial investment might be huge. That we may not be able to finance. And on behalf of government, we now have to go on the road show to start explaining these opportunities. Another thing you sell to them is that this system will move this mass of people and reduce poverty. Poverty also has a cost on the economy. If you have too many people in that bracket, they get onto the streets and you have all sort of situations. So we also use the opportunity to expose to them the new Nigerian railway, the transformation going on, the human capital opportunities, and the fact that if you invest in this this rail sector or any other mass transit sector at this low interest rate, it allows them to remove this much people out of poverty in Southeast Asia. That was the strategy that was used to turn China, turn all those Southeast people to become Asian tigers. They invested in roads, not third roads. They invested in earth routes into where the economy is, that is the farmlands, and people were able to move their farm products into the city and then for export. If you put tar roads there, you know what will happen? There will be gentrification. People will start going there to live and not to farm. The farmland will disappear. So there are so many things around it. But for the EU and all other developmental partners, we are meeting some other ones this week. It's just to expose to them that Nigerian rail system has the passenger volume to turn in the investment. What we need is more push, and all what we're asking for at that meeting was just $200 million.
Yeah, it's good. So let me bring some practicality into this now. I mean, you're the chief spokesperson of the NRC. So well, I mean, you're here now. I say chief because you have someone that is the PR person, but you are. If you don't speak of it, then who would? So let me give you a practical example. I'm going to Ibadan. I get to Ojota, I take a bus that will take me like an hour 20 minutes to get to Ibo Road. I'm going to Alakia in Ibadan. Now, and I get the bus maybe for 5,000-6,000 naira. Train ticket is about 3,500. But this is my issue. The trip to Ibadan, to Alakia, is all of maybe 2 hours if I'm going there. If I'm going to the same Alakia and I first have to get from Opik to Agege, which is the closest to me, then take like a 3-hour train ride also to Moniya.
Then
another almost 1 hour ride from Moniya to Alakia. Convince me.
I'll convince you.
Convince me.
This is the problem of intermobility.
Yeah.
It's an intermobility issue, and is as a result of the kind of system we are running. We are not running through federalism, or we are not practicing it, even that is what we're supposed to be running. The moment the rate comes by the federal government into a state, you will expect immediately the program is conceptualized. The state government is providing access to its people, because the rail is eventually going to blow up that town. There's going to be industries around it. But pending the time the place will be fully populated, the state government should put a road. You are correct. That's one. Then two, the state government and the local authority should immediately put in a transportation system that takes people to where the train is. So I will use Lagos, I will use Kaduna, I will use Kano, I will use Abuja. That has done well. Let me start with Lagos, then I'll move to Ogun State. That has done something phenomenal also. In Lagos, you have Lagos rail system. It's now gone to 11 from 5. So Lagos is moving. Now, Lagos Red Line, Lagos Blue Line can take you from Okukumaiko, if you want to use that train, to Marina or whatever. And from there you can find your way to join the Red Line at Ido or EBJ Junction. That is the way it should be. Now, the bus system too, we are not running, there's no state currently now in Nigeria that is running a mass transit system that is or that you can be proud of. You should be able to move on one bus to the other with minimal cost and then join the train. So we lack intermodality in our transport system. That is the subject of National Transport Conference coming up in October now in Abuja. We'll keep discussing this thing. So, however, you have used Lagos as an example. Let me commend the Ogun State government for fixing the Ladere Road. The road that leads from the Wole Soyinka station was commissioned, I think this year, by the governor of Ogun State. Don't forget that line was commissioned about 2020 or 2019. So it took about 6 years. That's not good. They will thank the government for getting it done. At least something was done. If you go into FCT, there is that challenge there. To get to our train station is a challenge. That is the one at Idu. But thanks to the FCT administration, you can take a train from Central Business District free of charge to the airport. And you can take a train from Central Business District to Idu station to take the Abuja Kaduna train. That's the way it should be. And all they just need to do is to now make transportation from the Central Business District station of the Abuja Rail Metro to the town. You are perfectly correct. So that is a problem. When you get to Warri Itape, it's a different story. All this calculation of money you are calculating will disappear. Lagos and Ogun State is unique because there are many road connections. In the case of Warri Itape, do you know it will have cost people about 35,000 to 50,000, no, about 35,000 to move from Abuja to Warri or to Bayelsa or to Rivers. So what do? They will take a bus from Abuja to Itape. They take the train for 5,500 naira. Then when they get to Warri, the same company that you mentioned, the middle organizer, the same company that facilitated the movement from Abuja to Itape by road, is waiting for them in Warri to facilitate their movement to Yenogua and to Rivers. Guess what? It cost them less than just about 10,000 naira instead of 35,000 naira. So for places like Lagos, it may look like it's on the other side. The same thing happens when you talk of Abuja Kaduna. It costs about 12,000 to go by road, whereas you can use that thing by 3,000. Now the train moves at the exact time, no delay. It gets to where it's going. It tells you 2 hours 46 minutes, and it is 2 hours 46 minutes plus or minus 5 minutes. You get to where you want to go. It is safer. It is more comfortable. You are more relaxed. I said it here before. When I did my Microsoft certified exams, after the study, it took me 6 weeks to pass all the 6 exams. Because when I'm going to work in Chicago, I just take my book, I study 2 hours on the train, I get to work and I do the same thing back. I go for the exam, pam, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I cleared everything. That's what the train gives you. However, also, the other thing you have is there's nothing like go slow. There's nothing like breakdown trailer, cause trouble like yesterday you were talking about. There's something like that with the train. So some people take train from Chicago to, where is this, LeBron Jamestown? Cavaliers, where are they from? LeBron James' hometown. It takes about 12 hours, no, 7 hours to go by train. Whereas by here is about 2 hours. Do you know the cost of the train is more expensive than the here? And some people just prefer sit down, have the scenic views, relax, do their office work, and they just go. Not that it's that different, a little bit different. So it's a preference.
Okay, you just mentioned the Warri Itape Road now, and it led to this conversation, something that happened recently. You know, there are those who have criticized the evidence of, they use the Warri Itape derailments recently as evidence of a reactive rather than proactive maintenance model. So how are you and your team working to ensure to restructure the track inspection frequencies and oversight to prevent such disruptions?
Thank you very much. Let me once again appeal to Nigerians that we apologize for the incidents, and we also commiserate with those who lost their lives and those who were injured. We have done some of the things we need to do to handle that aspect of the situation. The problem from our investigation is not from the track. We'll release something in a few days now. It's not, in our own view, it's not. NSIB2 is investigating, independent investigation. And accidents could happen. But like you said, if there are proactive maintenance or proactive actions, you may be able to prevent. But there are some that the problem will happen while you are on the way. That was what happened in this case. Something happened while the train was on the way, and you're just hoping to get to, or you think it's not that serious, and from that one, something has happened, and it happened. Now, in terms of maintenance is cost-related, and many of these spare parts are also not readily local or locally available. So you have to make sure you have your spares available. Rail, air transport, even vehicular transport requires frequent maintenance, and you should not take any chance. If it is one small, what they call that, sensor that goes bad, you don't have to go. But at times, we as human beings will say, oh, I can't, let's go, we'll change it on your way back. And that might just be that might just be 1,000 naira kind of something. Because these things are not just mechanical, they're also electronic. And you have to, so when I got into that agency, I don't want to speak to Warri Tape strictly, because they're using Warri Tape as a, we shut down that system for 30 days, 60 days, shortly after I resumed, because I noticed there are issues with damaged arms.
Okay.
And we moved from 8 coaches to 5. Then we became non-competitive. The OPEX was not enough to even buy diesel. Then we discovered the track was damaging then when we went into history, it shows that the system, the track system and the track age requires the track safety audit and the track complete rehabilitation process. So we shut it down for 60 days and we did a lot of work on the track. We came back, it was smooth. Now, also the same thing with equipment. You see, you have to keep your relationship with your original equipment manufacturers, because it's not easy to bring in parts. Some parts, or like in the electronics now, computer, everything is now standardized. ISO, this EE1, 2, whatever. It's not the same thing with rail. So when you have rail from Germany, you have from China, you have from US, you have from whichever countries, India, then that means you have to keep parts in different class. They have class, you'll be any class 22, class 24, class 28. So you have to keep parts. So you have to order, so we have to create a system that is Nigerian.
Okay. One last one.
I don't want to talk too much.
No. One last thing from me. There is an acquaintance of yours that has repeatedly drawn our attention to the fact that there was such a thing as railway police. We know that you have begun to strengthen your relationship with the Nigeria police for this track safety and all of those things. Is there any hope that the railway police is going to come back?
We have a Nigerian police force.
Railway Command.
And they have a commissioner of police that does the entire country. You also have the Nigerian, Security Civil Defense Corps, Railway Command. But we don't have like in the aviation where you have AFSEC, we don't have RailSec. So we are planning to have RailSec. Now they will do different jobs. The RailSec will not carry gun. The police and the civil defense will carry guns or may carry guns. So, but we still have them.
Okay.
I'm sure you are talking towards the area of vandalism. Vandalism security is beyond those issues.
Okay.
It's a complex issue. The rail systems are far away from where the rail tracks where people live. The railway used to have, I'm sure the person must be referring to the ganga and the linesmen. The railway system has a team of class of workers. They are mostly level 4 to 6 or 8. Okay. They call them ganga. They line the tracks on a daily basis to walk and check. In those days, there was nobody stealing iron, nobody stealing clips, but they still manage those things. But the police, the civil defense are the ones in charge of the vandals. The vandals we have now are serious ones. They are not ordinary people.
Well, that
it's
means,
a cartel.
That means we ourselves have to be more serious.
They are the vandalization.
Thank you so much for your time this morning. I know that there is so much, but I think the major thing that you've said now is that you are under pressure.
Under
pressure.
I work best under pressure.
Okay, good. So you have
under
to give us 3 years.
You remember that
I don't want to sing today. You have to give us 3 years before you increase anything. That's the example you have given us.
Oh,
don't even say that one. Thank you so much for your time this morning, Dr. Khalid Okwefa.
No, let me just correct you. There is no plan on ground now.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Let me assure Nigeria.
Great to hear.
Okay. Dr. Khalid Okwefa, Managing Director, Nigeria Railway Corporation. We appreciate your time and thoughts again. Yes. I think it was yesterday, or is it today?
That was
International Self-Care Day.
I had a lot of self-care yesterday.
No, yours was birthday induced. We'll talk about that more when we return. This stay with us.
Self-care.
Yes, care for yourself.
You care for yourself. You owe it to yourself to care for yourself.
Yes, so. But in case you don't know, there is such a thing as International Self-Care Day. So, if you did not care for yourself, what's today's date? Today is 25.
25, yes.
If you did not care for yourself yesterday,
Start today.
do it now.
It's never too late to start.
I guess one of the things that we can say about the Self-Care Day, International Self-Care Day, is to call attention to self.
Yeah.
Not in a selfish manner, but at least to let you know that if you don't take care of yourself will take care of itself. By landing you in hospital, and I don't think that is what anybody will.
You know what they say in in flight operations? They said ensure your own safety before you ensure safety
of anybody else.
Of anybody else. Like if you if you're not, that's it.
It's like you're shooting.
It's like it. And then for practically for life really, if you're not fit and healthy, if you don't take care of you, how can you take care of anybody else? If you're in that line where you have people dependents to take care of. If you're not healthy, if you don't engage in self-care and ensure, then because if something happens to you, who will take care of them?
Well, just by way of definition.
Yeah.
Self-care is this is not, I don't know whether this is the official definition, but maybe our doctor will also help us this morning. Dr. Ramon Moronkola is a consultant interventional cardiologist.
Wow.
He's with us in the studio this morning. Thank you for joining us today.
But let's have that definition.
Sorry?
The definition you
Yes, I'm going to ask him.
Okay, right.
Please.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, viewers.
Self-care is the intentional practice of preserving and improving your own health, well-being, and happiness. Yes or no?
Yes. So we talk about intentional acts, practical approach, daily choices we make, all aimed at ensuring that we protect our health, improve our health, and prevent disease. So I guess in the past, when we say health, the individual is totally dependent on the healthcare provider, that's the hospital and the doctors and the nurses, to define and take care of your health. That's in the past. But what we are saying is, as an individual, you should take proactive steps. The choices we make every day, we can't be in the hospital every day, but the choices we make every day define what happens to your health. So if you are conscious of that, that's what's called self-help. So those activities you engage or you avoid aiming at protecting your health or improving your health, that's actually called self-care.
I know you will take us to those later, but maybe if you can do a wild guess. I think the thing you are saying is, first of all, this whole conversation starts with awareness.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Good. If you would take a wild guess, using Lagos for example, circa 20 million people, as we say, 22 million people. Nigeria is a lot more, we hear. But if you take a wild guess, what percentage of Lagosians are aware of this need for self-care?
I'm sure we'll be talking about less than 5%.
What?
Yeah.
Even despite all this fit farm.
So when we see people go to the gym, for example, people talk about there are different reasons people do it. Some for wrong reasons. Because you mentioned the use of gym. People just think going to gym will make you just to build muscles, to appear healthy and look fit. Sometimes those activities are not done properly, not well guided, because exercise is something that has to be prescribed too. Exercise is to be prescribed. You can't just say, they say exercise is fine, it's good, and you jump to the street and start running on the treadmill or start running on the street. There are conditions where the amount of exercise you're allowed to do will be prescribed. So, for example, you have some heart condition. Do you understand? Sometimes there's some kind of exercise you can do that can put some pressure on your joints can be detrimental over time. So if you are talking about self-care, that man that is running a treadmill, does he even know his blood pressure? Does he know his heart condition? You understand? So as world advanced technology, also there's some advancement in technology, there are lots of options we can explore now, and that's why the issue of awareness is important. And that's part of what we are doing now. So for example, there are opportunities now to check your blood pressure at home. In the past, most times, the only time you get to check your blood pressure is when you get to the hospital, which can't be every time. Maybe we have another reason to go to the hospital.
And even at that time, it wasn't everybody that knew how to take your blood pressure.
Oh, exactly. Remember that machine you have to pump and it's complex. But now, technology has, we have advancement in technology. We have machines now that you can own in your house. Just for you to be trained, I'm sure even centers where you buy a machine, you can train you how to use the machine. It provided is a validated machine. You can check your blood pressure. And you know that you can not just check your blood pressure, you can track your blood pressure over time. That is very, very important.
Okay, there's something that you have said, and I'd like you to expatiate a little further on it. The fact that exercises need to be prescribed.
Exactly.
Facebook is not helping matters.
Yeah.
You have to choose your own health care.
Facebook is not helping matters. You see Tai Chi exercise, Tai Chi walking, Tai Chi this one, Tai Chi that one. You see, you want to lose belly fat.
Asian Pilates.
You want to lose belly fat. You take this, mix this fruit with this fruit, blend it, take it 2 times a day or something, and all those things. So, how do people go about this? I need you to emphasize the need for prescribed exercises, so that I have been in an environment before. My fitness coach was telling me he had a guest. They just started with this guy. He looked very fit, and the guy collapsed.
Yes.
He looked fit, as in there was nothing wrong with this guy. The guy collapsed. What happened? The guy was just doing warm up, and he collapsed. So I need you to explain further about the need for not just exercising, but prescribed exercising, and why they need to be for prescription.
So Savi, I think we need to try and distill it and categorize into 2 reasons why you want to exercise. Some want to exercise just for fitness, especially if you are into sports. Do you understand? So you're a footballer, you are into sports. You know, the reason for exercising is not just for health reason, it's for professionalism.
Yeah.
So it's something that in that instance, that's your job. But I tell people, if exercise is always safe, footballers will not be collapsing on the pitch and dying. There are people that play football, that's their profession, they are fit, yet sometimes they are playing football. During the match, they fall, some have cardiac arrest. That tells you that there's a limit to what the heart can take sometimes. There are people that, for example, most of them have myocardial infarction is sometimes exertion induced. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you are seeing a doctor that's analyzed, that's assessed you, he will prescribe, he will tell you the amount of exercise. So generally, we don't advocate for extreme exertion. We say brisk walking, 30 to 45 minutes, just like 4 times a week is fine. I have lots of patients that I have to tell, you don't need this amount of walking. Are you planning to go for Olympics? You are 55, you are 60, you say you can walk for 3 hours. You have to define the reason you are doing these things. Do you understand? So exercise has to prescribe. If you go to physiotherapy, if you see a physiotherapist, while he's seeing you, most times usually we want you to see a doctor first to know your state of your heart. If you don't know your state of your heart, that is why I gave you an example of you are jumping on a treadmill, you are running to the gym, you don't even know your blood pressure. That's why I went, because that's hypertension is a major driver of cardiovascular disease worldwide. We say cardiovascular disease is the commonest cause of death worldwide. More than 70 million deaths worldwide. Hypertension is a major cause. Heart attack, stroke, kidney disease is a major cause. So if you don't even now know where you belong regarding your status regarding hypertension, how do you now know even if you develop other higher level of cardiovascular disease, which can put the individual at a risk or developing complications during exercise. There was a research that we did some years back, and we looked at hypertensives, healthy-looking hypertensives. If you have any documented, maybe kidney disease, documented complaints that looks like you have heart failure, we excluded all of them. And we said, okay, let's do an echo. That means echo is like a scan. We scan the heart and measure the size of the heart, the thickness of the wall. We found out that more than 50% of them already has some kind of effect of hypertension on the heart. These are healthy-looking individuals. So that means if you don't check, you won't know. So if before you can engage in exercise, it's important that you do a clearance, get a clearance from a doctor, and they tell you, oh, based on what we're saying, please limit the kind of exercise. We encourage people, we encourage mobility, move around, be active, those have positive effect on cardiovascular disease. However, I've not seen where extreme exercise has additional benefit. Oh my gosh.
Well, it weakened me yesterday. It knocked my 2 legs off.
In fact, reality is I
wasn't exercising because I wanted to. So I'm just putting that out there. But so don't worry, Jockey, I know you have your own questions too, but just to be to help anyone, there is the challenge of not over-exercising.
Yeah.
There's also the fear of asphyxiation. I have related with someone before who a doctor told her, Madam, you are exercising too much. This person wasn't exercising up to me and I'm older. And the doctor said that this fellow was exercising too much and that the person should take it easy. The person is no longer exercising because the doctor said. So help us find balance.
Well, I'm trying to figure out the reason the doctor will tell the individual to exercise.
No, they checked. I think some muscles were what do you call it? Breaking somehow.
So that's a special case.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a special case. I don't know exactly what it is. For sometimes, in fact, for people that have joints problem, sometimes there are different forms of exercise. There's weight-bearing exercise. There's non-weight-bearing exercise. So sometimes weight-bearing exercise may be dangerous for some. So that may be the distinction where they tell you, please do something. Some will encourage cycling, maybe stationary cycling, other forms of exercise. So that's why I said it's better to prescribe. At no point will we tell anybody not to exercise. Yes, because sometimes you can exercise lying down. We need some, for cardiovascular wise, for example, for the health of your heart and your lungs.
You must move.
It's good to move. Raise the heart a little bit. Increase your respiratory rate. You understand? It expands the lung. It gives a good feeling. So I think it's good, but the only thing is we must find balance, and by balance is moderate. Most times you see your healthcare professional to guide you.
Right.
You understand? That's the most important.
It could also be a fitness coach to guide.
Yeah.
Yes, but we have fitness coach may not be able to assess your cardiovascular health.
Yeah.
You won't know. They may say that you want to check blood pressure. I'll tell you, there are different ways of checking blood pressure. And if it's not properly checked, all you get from it is anxiety.
Yeah.
There are 3 things. We are talking about the machine. Is it the right machine that is being used? Is it a clinically validated machine? Is the cuff appropriate for your size? If you are big, for example, you can't use a small cuff to check your blood pressure. It will overestimate your blood pressure. So if your hand is too big for the cuff, your blood pressure will appear higher than what it actually is. What will happen? You'll be anxious.
Yeah.
And you can falsely now prescribe medication for you, which will make you feel worse. So the machine, which includes the machine itself and the cuff. Then the patient, the individual who's checking blood pressure, there's something about positioning. You understand the timing?
Yes.
You must empty your bladder. All those things very important.
It's like this is for me. Sometimes they say that you have to put the machine at the same level as your heart before you can take and measure.
The cuff should be at the same level as your heart.
Okay. So like here.
At least it should be.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
So when I try to domesticate it for my patients and explain to them, use your dining table.
Okay.
Dining table, you likely have the best chair to use. It's a chair where you can sit, back up to the head, rested. That means there's a rest for the back, before the back and the head. So you are rested.
Yeah.
The hand is on the table, rested. So there's no power in the hand. You're not suspending your hand. The hand is rested on the table, relaxed. Then the machine is applied. When that is done, then you wait 5 minutes.
Before you take the...
5 minutes.
What about those who use phones to measure blood pressure?
Well, no, I can't categorically condemn it, because I'm sure there was a time we were not sure of these digital machines we're using now. Yeah. Technology has shown, researches has shown that they are effective. Well, technology is still advancing, but we don't recommend the use of phone now. Maybe in future. When we get there.
When is the future? Is the future?
The future is not here yet. I told you we were somewhere before. Remember that time we used to do this pumping of the... So at that point, at that stage, exactly. So at that time, we were saying, we're not sure of these digital machines that are coming up. But we've seen they are validated, there are institutions that are engaged in validation of those devices now, and they've done some validation. In Nigeria, we have validator machines in Nigeria that can be used. So if you're using a validator machine, you know that you are getting a reliable result. But if you rely on your phone, I'm not sure. I've not seen literature support that for now.
Right, and as we're talking about self-care, it's good to talk about these issues, because one of the major issues that we neglect is, as you have said it, is the heart. And you never know. You just believe that you're A-okay, and then one day you just check and say, oh, this was wrong with me. I didn't know. And I think a lot of things that we do, all centers of the heart. At the end of the day, you're anxious, you're happy, you're sad, everything comes back to. Yeah. So, what are the hidden dangers of treating self-care as an occasional emergency? Oh, I'm not feeling this one, so you quickly do it, and then you feel better. But as opposed to making it a habit, a daily routine of self-care. You wake up, you ensure you're okay, you do this, you take time, you sleep well, you do this, even at work. There's a tendency to overwork. But then again, you don't work for yourself. For those who don't work for themselves, like you work in private companies, there are deadlines to meet, and your working hours are probably not sufficient to meet those deadlines. So you overdo it, you get back home, you still have obligations. So, how do you balance it all? And you still, put in your self-care routine as a daily ritual. Not occasional.
So the reality is that we should view health as a journey or as a tool and not a destination. Nobody can say I have attained health or healthy status, because there's so many dimensions to health. Just like you said, cardiovascular disease is one of the commonest cause of death worldwide. Hypertension is a major driver. That's why it seems like we talk about it every time. There are other aspects of it. Just like you said, having good sleep helps to helps your heart function well, helps your brain function well. If you don't sleep well over a long time, things will start going wrong. You start hearing things that's not there. You start saying things that is possible. So just something as having a good sleep is important. So just like you said, instead of waiting for the day you feel something in your heart, like I saw somebody yesterday, we were discussing, and he said, every evening I notice that my heart rate goes up. I said, how did you know? He said, I just feel it. Then when I go to check my blood pressure will be high. At that time I know that my blood pressure is always high. You don't wait until you feel something to check your blood pressure. So blood pressure is dynamic. It's affected by activities. It's also affected by state of mind. So if you're happy, you're anxious. Whether you're happy, you're sad, you're angry, you understand? Your blood pressure will be high at that time. And it is appropriate for your blood pressure to be high. Just like I was describing earlier, that when you put your hand, you wait 5 minutes before you start measuring. The reason is because you have to calm down. Do you understand? To get a rested blood pressure. When you come to sit, as you are sitting for a while, your blood pressure will assume your rested blood pressure. If there's any reason for you to stand up, blood pressure will go up. If you start walking, it will go higher. You run, it will go higher. So as you're coming to sit on the table, the blood pressure is higher. You have to wait for it to settle, calm, before you can check the blood pressure.
You didn't mention the fact that sometimes when you are watching horror film, your blood pressure could also be high.
Definitely.
And watching football with your team playing.
As your team is, there's one team. No, sorry. I won't mention the name.
So those I'm just trying to emphasize what you said about
exactly. Those conditions, don't check your blood pressure at that time, because it will give you a false blood pressure. The only thing you are going to get is what? Anxiety, unnecessary anxiety. Oh, my blood pressure is high. Meanwhile, it is nothing. It's just your blood pressure is only responding to the situation, which is appropriate. I'll tell you, if your blood pressure does not rise with activity, it is a disease on its own. If you stand, you start moving, walking fast, your blood pressure is not tracking it and following you. It's not going high. The individual will collapse. Because the more activity you exert, the heart needs to pump faster.
It's like
you need more blood to go to the brain. The brain needs more blood. Muscles will need because during activity, muscle will require a lot of blood. So as you're walking, lots of blood will go to the muscles. If you don't pump extra to accommodate that and also supply the brain, what will happen is that the brain will now be deprived of blood and start feeling dizzy and collapse.
The last one, why do we have pregnancy-induced blood pressures?
It's an entity.
I'm just wondering why
it's a complex situation. There are so many factors involved.
Explain.
Could that be because the child is also having blood pressure and they are combined?
The child doesn't have any problem. It's just that pregnancy. So the pregnancy-induced hypertension itself is a risk factor. Yeah, on its own. So there's so many factors that can be involved, but either way, you can't place your hand on one particular thing causing it. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So it's also an important fact. It points to the fact that checking your blood pressure regularly, whether pregnant or not pregnant, is also important. If you pick it early, the risk of complication reduces.
Right.
So in any situation, whether young or old. So when we are talking about trying to marry the complex schedule and staying healthy, what you've been doing over time, you get accustomed to it. It's just like when you tell somebody, can you reduce salt in your food? A man that is used to adding extra salt on the table, we find it difficult initially. However, if he decides that I will stop adding salt on the table, after some time you get used to it. Then you say, okay, can I start reducing the salt used in cooking? They start gradually. So something you have to get used to.
So essentially, self-care is a journey.
Yeah,
exactly. It's a continuous. There's no point you say, okay, I've achieved it.
There are so many angles to this, Dr. Moron-Kola, that I'm pretty sure that we're going to have to we'll have you over another time to discuss, because we haven't even talked about the nutritional dimension of self-care.
Important.
We'll get to it some other time. Dr. Ramon Moron-Kola is a consultant interventional cardiologist. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. There's a particular medicine that people are also advised to take. It is called medicine. It's called laughter. We'll talk about that a bit when we return. Okay, we want to serve you medicine this morning. Medicine. Our guest this morning, our artist of the week, is not the one that you saw in that song. None of them is our artist of the week. Artist of the week is a Nigerian stand-up comedian, actor, and event compere, known for clean comedy and creative stage concepts, like a show he calls the Comedy Checkup Show. You only go for checkup when you need to check your body temperature and everything else. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, known as real name Chidi Uzoma Baba the Baba.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for coming upon upon the summon of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. You've been quiet. How you been?
I'm fine.
You've been quiet. Was that deliberate?
No, it's not like I have been quiet. Something happened.
Oh, okay.
I just got married. You know, when you get married, when you marry like this.
You announced this wedding, getting married a long time.
Yes, and finally. Yes.
Where is your ring?
I'm saying it. I don't need to put on any rings. I actually forgot it.
So in case anybody, you forgot it. Tell you your wife is coming for you.
But no,
let us borrow him one.
No,
let us borrow him.
No. Everybody there your own. I can't remove it. If I remove it, I forget it.
It takes getting used to.
No, I'm not really used to it. At times I'll be asking her, when are you going? She'll be like, I'm my husband. Oh, sorry, I don't forget.
So how has it been, aside from getting married and doing what elders do?
Life has been fine. Moving from being a bachelor to a married man, those stress I used to have, getting older and looking for a wife. Every day you're toasting this one. So I will say, let's go on a date. After spending money, she will say, let's think about it. Let's pray about it. And I just spend money. Understand? So no more. So I'm no longer going through that phase. I've outgrown that.
You now have different challenges.
Yes. Now these other challenges that if you want to get married, that budget of I spend 10K every month. So if I get married now, at least it will not be 15,000 for 2 people. Highest 20,000, 10. That kind of calculation what they do. Now when you not get married, you now realize that every month now is now 100,000 instead of the 15,000 what you plan. They will call you that somebody died in their village. That's not me kill this person now.
So you are evolving into this new phase.
Yes. Okay. Yes. It's been interesting.
Okay.
Tell us more. How interesting has it been? Different people.
She's a woman that is asking you this question. You can be sure that you are looking for campaign now.
There are different people with different experiences. When it comes to marriage. I mean, what has your own experience in the short time you've been married?
Okay, I've been married for like 1 year and few days. I got married June 27 last year. So I've priced divorce.
Happy wedding anniversary.
Thank you. I've priced divorce 2 times. I call lawyers. How much do they use divorce?
Why?
I thought it would be that easy.
To do what?
That when you just get married, to just things go down the flow. Now you not be quarreling with a girl you have known before. No, I know that when you get married, you not get to start knowing the real person. That date's in the advert.
Okay.
That's it.
So now you have bought the product.
Yes.
You have removed the package.
Non-refundable consumer protection. Non-refundable. Non-returnable. You cannot return.
I have to call my boss. Say, I want divorce. He said, now the marriage starts. When you start saying you are tired. He said, once you start saying you are tired, now the marriage starts. I said, this will never start, sis. So it's just a new phase.
Yeah.
And it's interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm not advising people. When I see people getting married, say, forget that advice to make you the marrier. When you marry, you see the real person you're getting married.
I have a feeling you've done this at a wedding reception where you're MC.
Yeah, I always say it.
I can imagine.
Yes, now. Most of my comedy shows now, I'll tell them how I got married. Now, I didn't even plan to get married. I did that normal thing a guy would do, see girl, you want to carry the girl, you want to use and dump him. The thing can't choke me.
And God hook you, God.
The thing hook me, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
At least I got to know, because she's a Yoruba girl, I'm Igbo. So I now realized that Yorubas, it's easier to marry a Yoruba person, unlike Igbo. Then I now know that I know that why I was single for a long time was that I couldn't afford an Igbo girl. I couldn't afford any Igbo girl.
Why?
The bride price.
How much?
There was one girl I wanted to marry. The girl's father added keke na pep in the list. Where I want to see keke na pep now.
Then the seller now, you can import
4 million. That is marrying that guy would cost me the least, not the party. The least alone would cost like 7 million. I thought I'll get back to you. so instead of met an Igbo girl, I said, let's go and collect your quotation. Now quotation now. Bring your quotation. Then I go through. I can't afford anybody. Before I met the Yoruba girl, you know. So when they gave me their list, I told the father that I can't afford though. He said, no, anything you have, if you can't do it, just let us know. That's what this is. So like play, we went for the traditional marriage in Kwara State. So they didn't ask us anything, and actually came with everything. After the traditional marriage, my dad, being an Igbo traditional man, he said, how can they give you wife for free? It's an abomination. So we now went to meet my in-law. My in-law said, you said you don't have money, that's why we did not ask you. We said we came with everything. We now started bringing out the yam, after the traditional marriage. So my father is still sharing that story, that he went to marry Yoruba girl, they did not ask for anything. Unlike Igbos, you will first bring everything first, they will count the yam. Is it complete? You will fight.
But they count for us too, 42. You know, the Yoruba girls joke with it. I say my 42 yams were complete when I got married.
But my own in-laws didn't even
No, it's just a joke.
Yeah, no, but even now it's true that
true,
you know that these days it seems the culture is Yoruba culture is a little more lenient.
Yes, because it's how do you call it? It's a thing of pride when they say that they brought 42 yams
to marry.
No, in Yoruba land, they say when they say my 42 yams were complete, that I am in my husband's house. I have a right. My 42 yams were complete.
I'm the one talking about it. If my wife misbehave, say that yam complete though.
Yes.
Don't misbehave.
Yes. You should tell her.
I feel my father to marry you. Understand?
I hope you not got to the point where you say, I'm the head of this woman. Your wife will tell you, I'm the neck.
Yes. No, she will even tell me that this house, there's no head. My wife in this house, there's no head. I said, but I need to pay all the money. I was explaining. I said, well, after looking for the video, to explain how I married her. I brought people.
I have evidence. And I have witnesses.
Oh wow!
How's your comedy checkup show doing?
Comedy. I couldn't do comedy checkup last year because I got married last year. So I couldn't. My brain no balance again. You have to understand this marriage first. So I couldn't do last year, and I'm not doing this year.
Okay.
Yes, because I'm still trying to understand the marriage. Because comedy show is difficult to organize. When somebody promises you money and you have to start calling the person, you start having migraine. Now wife headache, they show headache, pay person no go crazy. You have to choose one headache first. So once I'm okay, once I'm maritally balanced, somebody has to be balanced. So we'll now do comedy checkup.
But the reason I'm asking is because I know that one of the things that you have championed personally over time is mentoring.
Yeah.
Young comedians, a good number of them don't have the discipline needed for the industry. But I know that it's something that you'd always talked about and wanted to do to ensure that people who are still aspiring to be and to come into the industry, they have it all right. That's the reason I was asking. So is that still going on in any way, manner, shape, or form?
Yes, I have people I mentor, and I also have people who mentor me.
Of course.
Most times why we have mentors is because these people have gone through this phase. So those guys need to advise you, don't do this. Just like last year, I was planning my show. A mentor called me, you just got married. It will not work. I thought it was a joke. 2 months of the show, I called it off. Because that person has gone through that phase. He had gone through it. So that is just what mentorship is about. Getting to share my experience with you and advise you.
Now, I know you have told the story of how you got into comedy a good number of times.
Yeah.
But perhaps it might encourage any of your mentors now. Because there are those who want to, should I say, change careers or add, to their career. There are a few of the skit makers who say that they didn't want to be in comedy, but they just had to be because they were too funny not to be. And so they had to leave an industry in which they were to come into this and all of that. So is there any guidance you can give to anyone who is having problems staying, having their foot on the ground about that thing that they want to do, particularly if it is comedy?
Comedy. Okay. Now, most challenge most upcoming comedians have is the niche. You feel because this is your strength, it will not work. Just come in with your style and have somebody who will guide you. Just move with somebody who is doing your style, your kind of comedy. You understand? Over time, you begin to have your audience. Just like myself, I started comedy telling stories. Then it wasn't funny. People were like, what does this say? Because those days we had comedians talking about worry people are thieves, they are criminals. I didn't know how to tell those stories. Somebody say cockroach crossroad. I've not seen cockroach crossing road before. So I couldn't understand those stories. Then I came with reality jokes, sharing my life experience, like I just told about my wife, my marriage. So each time I came on, they were looking at me because these guys are expecting me to say worry area, I know they worry they carry last. I couldn't say any of those things. But over time, they started understanding my style. And that was how I came into it. So each time I see somebody who is doing comedy, I'll be like, okay, you have good storyline, but you need to keep doing it. Then before people start understanding you. I know a comedian that does Mr. Paul. All he talks is rubbish. Do you know Mr. Paul? You understand? He will just be cracking joke. With the travel, motor can jump in brain, the brain can run crossroad, the brain can go stay one place, can they hide. The audience will start laughing. But initially it will not make sense. But now, people now understand that he wants to say nonsense. That is how the industry works. You just keep doing your thing. Just like we have content creators, we have some who just come and dance and you're enjoying them. So we'll be cooking, they'll call it lifestyle content. And people are busy watching somebody cooking food. Somebody's playing with his children, with her kids, and people are watching. So just come with your own style. Be consistent. So, because the main thing is being consistent. When they see you today, see you tomorrow, they'll start enjoying it like that. That's what I always tell these comedians.
Now,
okay.
To not talk back.
There's a counsel that I would like every comedian to give every other comedian.
Yeah.
You are joy givers.
Yeah.
You make people happy.
Yeah.
You make people laugh. But we know a comedian in the US who died depressed. And I'm sorry, it may sound a bit morbid, but it is the reality. Sometimes comedians use giving joy to mask their own situation.
Yes.
So what would be your advice? Or how have you handled that?
Okay, I have been able to cope with that because I don't live the kind of standard they have set for us. Why most people go into depression is because of poverty. When you're broke, as in you can't enter public transport, you'll be like, how do I enter it? You become depressed. I've seen a popular actor who begged somebody on a WhatsApp group. He didn't know it was a WhatsApp group. Say, I beg, borrow me 20K, make I take other ride. I just DM the Ogago enter bus. And that's how we all need to face this reality that sometimes you may not have. And when you don't have, live a normal life. If you see most people who have committed suicide, if you ask them what happened, you'll be like, nah, this thing I make this person. Something you have experienced and you didn't count it, you didn't think of committing any suicide. You know, these are the challenges we face. And the kind of standard celebrities bring up. Somebody will say you must be living large, just like Blessing CEO, who was mocking VDM, calling him poor. Blessing was arrested for fraud. That is somebody who was defrauding people, was mocking somebody who has been working hard. If VDM had considered what she said, he would have given up. He would have known VDM today. That person that mocked him, called him poor, has been arrested for fraud. So now when you thief to the oppressed person, This is what is happening in the industry.
Well, that hasn't been proven in the court of law, has it?
But yeah, she's not known for many things.
So for now, we cannot say.
Okay. The money you're allegedly thief.
You didn't put allegedly. So that can also be an issue.
Yeah.
So what should we be expecting from Baba the Baba?
Okay.
Any moment.
Yes, any moment soon. Comedy checkup is still on. And I'm working on, I have my page on Uncle Baba, so I'll also do content on Uncle Baba.
Uncle
Baba on Facebook. So, and I analyze issues like this video matter I just discussed. So you where they oppress somebody, whereas you are not having legitimate source of income.
Allegedly.
Mm-hmm. Understand? So Uncle Baba, you just there analyze issues and joke about it.
Okay. One last thing. AI is now very deeply rooted.
Yeah.
People make all kinds of videos, including comedy skits with AI and all of that. Where are you on that table?
Okay, I only use AI to edit pictures.
Wait.
I have done one video with AI. Creating one video can take you 2 days. And as a content creator, you must post every day. So I don't have that time for AI. I only use ChatGPT. They write this thing. Help me edit this picture, make it fine. Or change this person's head if you want to make fun of somebody. So that's what I only do with AI. But I don't create videos with it.
But one can't argue with its impact on your industry.
AI is taking over. Mm-hmm. You know, I've done 2 things this morning with AI, using AI. You understand? So we are all making use of this AI, especially for a content creator. Is either you are creating with it or you are getting information through AI. Like I said I can use it to write stories, but I don't create videos because of the time. So it makes life easier. And you get information.
Okay.
And you get paid for it. AI pictures pay more on social media than your normal picture. So if I take a picture, I'll still work on it with AI. So that's
at least now we know. Well, thank you so much for your time this morning. I don't know why I feel like we're going to be hearing more about you in terms of with AI.
The spirit is moving.
Yes, somehow. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Baba the Baba. In case you don't know, now you know. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming.
Good.
And thank you for staying tuned and staying true.
Thank you for watching.
We didn't say our names at the beginning, so we must say our names now.
Oh, that's true. My name is Ayo Makinde.
And I'm Joke Rogers. You
have a wonderful rest of the week.
Have a splendid weekend.